One of the first things we learn about being a two-line in human design is that we have natural gifts that are invisible to us, that others can see, and they need to call us out. And I'd like to give a bit of perspective on this because probably like me, when you learnt that, you went down this sort of rabbit hole or treasure hunt of trying to work out, well, what are my gifts? And I can't see them. And you may have even asked people. I did that as well. And yeah, sure, I learned. Well, I don't know if I really learned some things. It probably just echoed what I already knew about myself. Things like that I make things really simple, um, things like that. But nothing that was really enough to go, right, so that's what I should be doing in my business, or that's what I should be offering, or that kind of thing. So, what I want to suggest, and you'll see this through this story, is that you actually don't go chasing down what your gifts are. And instead, you start by following your natural impulses and what is interesting to you. So, the story I want to share to illustrate this is a few years back. It was actually during COVID. I was getting very distracted by all of the COVID news and the rabbit holes you could go down and all of that kind of thing. And I remember just going, enough, Danny, enough. And I'm like, I am going to channel my energy elsewhere. And I had this idea that there were some workshops that I'd done previously that were quite popular. And there were just a few little things that I wanted to recreate or redevelop into tiny courses. So I started down that path. I went into my creative bubble, and that's what I focused on for a number of months. So as I started releasing these little tiny courses, what ended up happening is I started getting questions, some version of, "Hey, Danny, are you planning to create a course about creating a tiny course?" And I thought, no, like, why would I do that? And then I would get asked again, like a slightly different version of that question. And I'd be thinking, why don't you just buy one of the ones I've made, watch it, you'll work it out. Like it's obvious. Like, and then I remember the third time getting asked, and I'm like, this is kind of annoying. Like just buy. Like you would benefit from some of the ones I've already created. Why don't you just buy that? I wasn't saying that directly to people, but I'm like, I can't work this out. Why don't they just buy what I've already made? They'll work it out. So then I remember I was sitting outside having a cup of tea, and I'm like, I don't even know what I would talk about what do I have to say about creating a tiny course? Like, honestly. And then as soon as I said that, these ideas started like coming through, like, oh, I'd say that and this and that. And I'm like, far out. So I ran inside, grabbed a notepad and pen, started writing down what I would share with people. And then I'm like, wow, turns out I have actually got something to say about creating a tiny course. And then I got excited about that. And then I was like, all right, I'm actually, because I just wanted to move with it straight away rather than actually creating the tiny course about it. So I'm like, I'm going to do this as a two-part live workshop. By the end of the day, I actually put that offer out there. I thought, well, I capped it at I think it was like 20 people, and it sold out within 3 hours. And I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. So I delivered that. And then eventually I did turn that into an actual, like about 6 or 7 concise lessons about creating a tiny course. And that has remained one of my most popular courses. But I never went out to actually, that was not my intention. That was not my idea. And if we sort of look at why and why I almost resisted it, it's because it just seems so obvious. Like, who would need a course on creating a tiny course? Like, it's obvious. I guess that's what I felt. And so I think what we can learn from that story is number one, don't try chasing after your gifts and your things and all of that. Just follow your impulses. Do what you feel inclined to do. And then on these occasions where you start getting people asking you about things that you're doing or saying or that you think or the process, and you find yourself thinking some version of, it's obvious, like, oh, doesn't everyone know this, or something like that. That's the trigger point. That's the moment to go, hold on, this is actually the moment I'm being called out here. But even when you recognize that moment, it might be still hard to accept, because, like me, you might be going, I don't have anything to say about this, or it's just obvious, or some version of that. So you might then find it helpful to actually talk to some people about whatever subject matter it is, so that you start to realize it isn't obvious. People don't know it. Yes, people do need to be told these things. So I hope that really helps. And if you are a two-line, which I assume you are, especially if you're still here, then you will love my little book, Quiet Marketing. It is written by a two-line, and it, threaded throughout it, is really this whole concept of being able to have a business that allows you to retreat and not be so, like, present and engaging and all of that, like giving you the opportunity to actually hermit. So thank you for watching. If this helped you, let me know. And if there are any other questions that you have that you're thinking about in relation to the two line and business, I'd love to know. Let me know in the comments. Bye for now.